Great. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back.
Are we recording? That's good.
Very professional intro.
Yeah.
You are here with Two Girls, One Broadcast. I am Katie, and this is Jack. I almost said I am Jack. I don't know who I am at this point. And today we are joined by the gentleman from the Long and Hard podcast. Hi, guys.
Hello.
I think it's more of it's Two Girls, One Broadcast and Long and Hard podcast
This is a joint
because we're
venture.
sharing this
Oh,
audio
yeah.
next
No, I'm
week.
trying to take over. We're hosting. This is our podcast.
No, I don't
No,
have.
this is great. You just have to
Yeah,
show up.
I'm
Don't
just
have to
gonna
bring
kick
computers or
back
anything.
and-
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. I love when we record with people and we're like, do you want to share the audio? And we'll just post it.
It's also nice, when you're doing IRL podcasts, because we have to we take down and put ours back up every week. So it's kind of nice to do someone else's where you can just walk in and
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Your podcast makes me so neurotic because I would never be able to do this if we had to put our mics away every
Oh,
week. I know it doesn't seem like that much work, but it's such a pain in the ass.
it is and isn't. We've got pretty
We do have a
good
system.
at it, but we're gonna be a little rusty.
We're
I
gonna be
think,
so out of touch.
Yeah. It's gonna be like a 6-hour ordeal next time.
We need to be there
Oh
an
my
hour and a half before.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're happy to have you here on this seamless podcast.
Yes.
Seamless.
Very professional.
Yeah.
Got the AV techs in the room.
Yeah.
So this week we're doing another episode of our Boys versus Girls, but we're going to do something a little different. Jack found this 21 questions thing that we're going to do.
I didn't really even read the questions, so apologies in advance to people.
I don't think any of them are super intrusive. I looked through them.
Okay, well, I'll go first.
Okay.
What is the TLDR version of your life?
Fuck no, I have to answer first. I really don't know how to answer this. I was born in Edmonton and I lived in the same house until I was 20. My parents still own it and I've lived there a couple times since in between breakups. I went to school to be a police officer and that did not happen. And now I work for the city and I am obsessed with animals and have a rescue dog and I live with my wife. And that's all you need to know.
Wow, I made it into the story.
Duh. Save the best for last.
Josh?
My name is Jordan Belfort.
Oh, fuck.
By the age of 27,
Oh
the
my
whole thing, the whole bit. This is a weird one. I mean, same. Born and raised Edmonton, whole life. Maybe one day we'll leave. Maybe not. Who knows?
I mean, you did leave for a bit.
Yeah.
I did. That's true.
Yeah.
I lived in Montreal for 4 months last year.
Yeah.
5 months last year.
So there
I
you
don't
go.
even
You've
know.
done it.
Don't know how to speak French. It was fun.
They love that.
They do. They do. What else about my life? I don't know. Went to, I don't even know. This whole COVID thing, I've just been I don't even know anymore.
Don't even know what.
Like half our brain cells are missing now.
I know.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something earlier and I was like, I just need someone to tell me what to think. I'm like, whoa, that is not a good way to be thinking. Dangerous.
And CNN's just well, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell
Let
you.
me chime in.
Yeah. That's my life.
Okay,
Nice.
wow, that was exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
TLDR version, not bad. That's the TLDR version.
I have to say, I liked yours the best, Katie.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Are you going to do it?
Oh, I thought. Should you want me to?
Yeah. We
Okay.
can all do them.
Okay. I'm gonna go on that route over there. Yeah. So I was also born and raised in Edmonton. I lived in the same house till I was 16. My parents moved me to the country. In the middle of grade 10, I was super annoyed. They let me still go to school in the city. I went to business school.
You moved out to the country? What?
That was a lasso, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering what you were doing.
Yeah,
it was very
I didn't know
traumatic
that.
for both of us.
Where
Yeah.
did you go?
It's just outside of Sherwood Park.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had no
It's
idea.
beautiful.
Did you have horsies?
No, we didn't have. I wasn't allowed to have any of that stuff. I think the move was for my brothers. Sorry, mom and dad. So yeah, they bought me a car, let me stay at school in the city, and I went to business school. I work in HR, and I also live with my wifey now. And I have 2 cats, and I hate one of them.
We all kind of hate one of them.
All right.
All right.
That's an interesting one. If you were to ask that one on a date, I would just be like, I don't know.
I know, like, I don't know if I
Fucking
have an
rhino,
answer
man.
that's not
Yeah.
super boring.
Yeah.
Like, well, I went to space when I was 19. And
Yeah, exactly. Made
I got
$1 billion
nothing.
gajillion dollars, and
and then I lost it all on the stock market.
Yeah.
I actually invented Bitcoin.
yeah,
Okay, question
I
2.
am Satoshi
yeah,
Nakamoto.
I am Satoshi. Yeah,
What should they teach in school but don't?
Oh. How to talk to girls.
I actually, on this note, I was thinking this because I heard this somewhere else the other day, but they were like, maybe not in school, but they should teach you like how to break up with someone is something I
Yo.
Oh, that is.
I would still take that course.
heard.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm not good at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe on that, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of like psych and philosophy stuff would be valuable to teach to younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's kind of like an emotional adjustment, being more emotionally adjusted sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
That might be good. And then, I don't know, practical things like how to pay bills or something. I don't know. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
The,
to budget.
the shit you see on like memes where it's like, you know, they taught us like calculus and physics and stuff, but not like how to budget, how to file taxes, blah, blah, blah. right?
I did
So-
get taught how to file taxes, but they were like
Oh, really?
teaching you how to do like the paper form, and it
Oh,
had
okay.
nothing to do with like, I'm like, I want to know all the tips and tricks to get all my fucking money back. Like, teach me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Hiring
gonna say, yeah, like a mortgage or
Mhm.
taxes.
Yeah.
I think another thing is, I don't really know how they would do it, but just like, maybe it ties into yours as well, but just like the emotional state, I guess, and like,
Mhm.
you know, growing up, I guess in our generation, it was like boys should be tough, like they shouldn't cry, blah blah blah, like stuff like that. I think they need to do better work with that. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that mine was kind of like a combination of those. Like, I think we have like calm, and it's supposed to teach you about like they touch on
yeah, I
addictions and
remember
stuff
that.
like that. But I think that
And like
calm
how to
should
put
be
on a condom. I believe that was that
yeah,
class as
like
well. Yeah.
I wish that calm was more like emotional intelligence and like mental health
Yeah,
and
that's
that
what I
kind of
was
stuff,
thinking,
like
yeah.
lowering stigma, like all of those kind of things that I think most of us don't really get into until we're in like our mid 20s, and a lot of us have had like formative relationships by that point, and it's like too late, like we're trying to figure it out on our own. I mean, some people grow up in a very like emotionally intelligent household and they learn that stuff from a young age, but like
Some of us don't.
some of us don't.
Yeah.
Whether or not like whoever, like, I don't know, kids learn weird shit. Like, your parents could be trying to teach you one lesson and a 6-year-old will learn a completely different lesson. So I just think like, especially in high school, it'd be nice to kind of be like, let's come back around that, like let's look at your like ideas of yourself and the world and
Interesting.
how to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, being more proactive versus reactive, which
Yeah.
is what people kind of inadvertently
Just
end up
give
doing,
kids
you know?
free therapy. Like, fuck.
What was I gonna say? Oh, and then on the comm note, because like comm was also, especially at our school, was kind of like a joke class because half our school was academies and they would all do it as
Correspondence,
modules.
baby.
Yeah.
So they literally would like I would, some days you would have a friend who was like, fuck, I didn't do the 3 comm modules. I'm going to grab 2 friends. I do this one, you do that one, and you do that one. And then we hand it in at the end of the day, right? So,
I went
Yeah.
to 2 comm classes, and then
Yeah.
at the end of semester, I went to my teacher, and I was like, so I haven't been here. He's like, yeah, I noticed. I'm like, can I have all the homework assignments? And I did them in like one weekend and handed them in, and I got like a 90%. Like, that's
Yeah.
not how it should be.
that's not really
I
good
learned nothing.
instruction. Yeah.
That's like grown-up schooling.
I know. And that
You're
thus
learning it now.
shows you how I am as an adult learner.
All right, number 3.
Next question. What inscription do you want on your gravestone? I like that one. That's you.
Again, not bad.
Period.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I
Had
wasn't.
a couple drinks, saw a couple things.
Oh my lord.
Oh, I actually like that. I didn't have enough time to think about this one. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, if you think of something, we
Okay.
can come back to you.
Okay.
I don't want a gravestone. I want to get cremated and get spread out like on a mountaintop.
I feel like that's avoiding the question.
Yeah.
I don't
Wrong.
want a gravestone.
Okay,
but if you
okay, if I
did-
did have a gravestone, I would want to say. I don't know. This is really hard.
I know why I don't have an answer. I don't know. You have something.
No, I don't.
Oh,
I
I
keep
thought you
thinking of stupid shit
Yeah,
that
I
has
know.
to do with being strewn on the top of a mountain.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna be buried next to Thomas, and it's gonna say the same thing as his gravestone.
Okay,
Not bad.
I'm gonna be buried next to them, and mine's gonna say
Had a few
same with
drinks.
an arrow.
Pointing this way. No, her should say like one of you should say same, and the other one should be like I'm with stupid or something like that.
That's good.
All
I
right.
like that one. He dead.
What? They did.
No, he dead.
He dead.
He dead.
Oh,
Oh.
he did.
Oh.
He did.
I was like, what?
I heard did like D-I-D.
He dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's exactly the answers you guys want for this.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Do with spreading the ashes, just be like, spread me one last time.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh God. Depends who's doing the spreading. Like, what if I have children and I leave those as in my will? I'm like, they're like, I don't know, but this is just what mom wanted, so we have to say it.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Number 4.
My turn, right? What is a cause that is worth dedicating your life to?
I think like animal rehabilitation of sorts. Yeah.
Like rescuing pets?
Yeah,
sort
like
of
if
thing, or
I
what?
if I could, like if money was never a problem, I would have like a farm and I would just have rescue animals and then I would get them adopted.
Same. But also, if I ever get my shit together and like do a master's, I would want to do psychology focusing on kids and do like early intervention so that kids can kind of like grow up more well adjusted and not have to fix all their issues as they're like adults.
Interesting.
Especially kids that have been like victims of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I thought about yesterday going back to school to be a youth counselor.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll actually do it, but anyways, yeah.
Vertical farming.
You know what? I want to live in one of those apartment buildings that's like all green. And like
Yeah.
the roof is
What's
like the
vertical
whole like
farming?
the
Yeah, I
whole,
don't
the
even
whole
know what that is.
building, the whole building is a farm.
It's like urban farming where you
Yeah.
like you can grow lots of things in a building.
Yeah, you can have like living walls and
Yeah.
rooftop pastures.
There you go. That's my new pastime after all this COVID thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I like that. I have
Making
a black thumb.
self-sustaining
I'd like to
community.
make our yard a little more green and I kill everything. So if you would like somewhere to practice, you're welcome to, just come and do our yard for free.
I mean, Thomas got here and said our porch looked nice, so
I know.
and I
Your
was
porch
like,
does look nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought you guys did.
Yeah.
Had a
Interesting.
good little
Porch
setup
looks
out there.
nice.
I freaking love this house.
As long as you
so
don't look at the
much.
dog poop, it's all good.
I know. You know what? It's been raining. I can't pick it up.
oh god, I know that is the one thing I hate about this house is the yard in the front.
I know.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I can't hide the shame of my
Oh,
husky
right. Like
poops,
everyone
yeah.
has to kind of walk through it to
Yeah.
get inside.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, oh my god.
It's all good, whatever.
My turn? Right? Yeah. Like I would say almost yourself, right? Like it's okay to be selfish and want to improve your own life. And I think people aren't taught that enough, which kind of seems to be a theme here. Yeah, I mean, there's almost like and even this question out there is like, you almost should feel bad if you don't dedicate yourself to something else outside of yourself, right? But I don't know. I think you can. Rising tide rises all ships, or however that saying goes, right? Like it's okay to selfishly pursue things, like assuming you're not screwing everyone over on the way, right?
I like it.
Me too.
That
All
was
right.
my against the grain answer.
What should parents stop teaching their children?
So this was one of the things where I was talking about, like, I think that parents teach lessons they don't really mean to teach, but I think that a lot of kids grow up thinking that it's not okay to say no to things. And like a lot of kids are like in whatever situation, so they end up kind of being yes men, even if it's kind of putting them into a dangerous situation or it's against their morals or whatever. So I think that because like you're brought up taught to like obey your parents. But I think a lot of us kind of like extrapolate that into like everyday life, and we're uncomfortable saying no to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe
Interesting.
that lesson could be reformulated a little bit.
Interesting.
Putting too much padding on your kids, I think. So like instead of
Hmm.
you know, putting them on the bike with a helmet and elbow pads and wrist guards and knee pads.
And pillow taped
Yeah.
around their butt.
Yeah, like I think kids need to learn like what the real world is in a lot of cases, and a lot of parents, specifically in our generation, kind of did that whole
Helicopter parent.
exactly like
Yeah.
don't go outside, you're gonna get murdered type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is almost like what we're running into right now with this whole coronavirus stuff. It's like everybody's going to die. No, they're not. But like,
I'm hearing Cardi B's voice in my head. Coronavirus.
Yeah. Yeah, no, interesting. Yeah. I feel like that was like our parents were like maybe slightly the start of that, like inadvertently. And then it's kind of the people who have been parents between then and even now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to like let someone fall down so they learn
yeah,
that hurts, they're mortals, but you can get back up.
yeah,
Yeah. So
let your kids be bored too. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stop giving them
Intriguing.
fucking iPads when
Yeah.
they're bored.
Right. iPad parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Huh. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd say even like the fixed mindset. I feel like a lot of people inadvertently teach that without even knowing what it is or even knowing that word, right? Because there's so much emphasis on like what you're naturally good at, and you know, at least for me, I feel like that was kind of emphasized a lot, like your natural skills, and then that doesn't really teach you the growth mindset, the work ethic, or that you can become better at things. I think that's a big one. So
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, I think mine kind of ties into both of yours. It's just like I see a lot of teenagers that can't deal with conflict on their own, and like they immediately go to their parents or and then they have their parents do the work for them, and like I always try and encourage them not to try and work through it without them. And like it's nice to have your parents as support, and like it's okay to go to them and say like I have this problem, what should I do? But I think parents should be more encouraging to say like you should go and talk to that person about this problem, and then we can go from there, like letting them kind of take the first
Right.
step in it instead of like band-aiding it for them and just
Right.
doing it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
yeah, we're
There-
kind of saying it's. I mean, I think a good thing a parent can do is just say, you know what, it's your decision, right? So
Yeah.
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 Like they can, unfortunately, I think a lot of parents give you advice almost to like, to do what's best for you, but also to like keep you safe
Yeah.
too.
Like they don't want you to fail, but like kids should probably be allowed to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then if you get to be an adult and like you've always had your parents saving you, like what are you gonna do in the workforce?
Yeah, I worry about that.
God, there was a thing on Reddit the other day, and this girl was having an issue with her boss, and her husband called the boss to like try to deal with it for her, and she was so mad, and he couldn't understand why she was so mad.
Actually,
Just like,
so on that one, and this is more of a specific between the sexes sort of one, but something I read like just the other day. So like when it comes, this is like guy-girl relationships, like kind of trying to solve the girl's problem sort of thing, like your girlfriend's problem, because like the way guys generally work is you'll logic your way through it, and then the girlfriend doesn't want to hear that, right?
Yep.
Like you kind of more so just need to let them vent or rant or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's something we supposedly inherently learn from like our moms or something, where like as a kid you generally want to just cheer your mom up, so you'll try to solve the problem, versus as an adult you want to like usually like just kind of be there, be entertaining is more the better solution than like the logical answer to the problem is usually pretty obvious, and like a lot of the time girls don't want to hear that. I think
especially if we're all pissed off. That's the
Right,
thing.
yeah.
Like you always get into the situations where like, why can't you just listen? Stop trying to solve everything for me.
and it seems kind of dumb, and it perhaps is, but it's kind of just how different brains work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. All right. I think you're question 6.
Whew. Is it okay to sacrifice one life to save 10?
Oh, and I have to answer this first?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it okay to sacrifice one life to save 10?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on circumstances. I don't
This
know.
is a rabbit hole question.
Yeah, this is like,
Right.
is the one life like a 95-year-old person who's lived their entire life? Or is it like...
or is it me?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Grandpa.
Then the answer is definitely no. Yeah, yeah,
circumstantial, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, isn't this an interesting timing for this question? Because
Yeah. That's what came to mind, too.
Mhm.
societally, we have kind of inadvertently voted yes on this question because, well, it's impossible. First of all, lots of people die, right? Like, regardless of coronavirus or anything, right? But we're just used to all those numbers, right? You know, so, but, yeah, we do need to open up the world again, but opening that up at this point, we're more or less accepting the repercussions as well, right?
Yeah.
So the answer is almost yes for everyone in this, right? So
Yeah, I would say yes, but I would say also circumstantially. But I mean, if this situation was to come up, it would obviously be a pretty grave circumstance. So I would say yes. I'm assuming that it's a big deal that this is happening, and that's why we have to choose an answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
and this, but this, one thing I think of with this is like self-driving cars, where someday you're in your self-driving car by yourself, and it loses control, and it's going towards a crowd of 10 people. Does it steer you off the road and kill you, or does it like override and do that, or not? Like
damn.
whose decision is that?
Yeah.
Also, why I will never get in a
Same.
me
Same.
either.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, me either.
I
Bro,
just
we
want
must be
to,
on the
like,
same
teleport.
fucking wavelength.
Oh yeah.
I was just like,
Oh my god. I know. I read over these questions before, and I went down like the rabbit hole with this one. I was like, okay, so if I take no action, 11 people are gonna die. So I have to choose someone to die. And I'm like, if like the one person is like a serial killer, then he deserves to die. But if it's like one kid and then 10 serial killers, then the serial killers deserve to die. And I'm like, okay, it's totally circumstantial.
Why is there a scenario where there's one kid and 10 serial killers?
I don't know. My
Yeah,
brain
that's
is
quite
a scary
far-fetched.
place. So
It's a very like Thanosian view of the world, I find.
Well, and then you get into
Yeah.
like the whole ethical thing of like, are you going to value certain lives more than others?
Right,
And, you
and
know,
this
like, what are
question
you going to
even-
like assign everyone a score, and then
Yeah.
whatever wins, that's the side that
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, this even elaborates on that of if you said yes, would you change the answer if the one life was a friend's life and the 10 were strangers, so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
I think inherently lives have
Yeah.
intrinsic value to you, depending on, again, like friendship
Oh,
or
yeah,
family.
absolutely.
Or,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
answering this as like, for some reason, I have to go in and like help a situation that
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in.
Right, exactly.
This is like Saw 9.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
These are all hypothetical questions, right? Right?
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah.
actually 8 people in the basement.
It's a very, I don't know, it's kind of a weird question. And I think, it's very easy to answer on the meta side of it, of like, oh, well, what's the greater good? But then when it becomes tied to you, no matter who you are, you're going to, pump up the values of those lives or whatever. So,
Yeah. Next question. How much do you change when you know no one is around?
I answer first.
Yeah.
I would say lots, and I think everyone's answer is a lot, right? Like who you are truly by yourself, like when no one's around, and who you are in your own head is something that only you will ever know. Is a kind of an interesting philosophical point to think about, right? So, it's you've probably thought some strange and weird and dark things, Katie.
Why is this directed at me?
when you're totally on your own, right? So how much do you change, right? And like even like living in your own grossness sometimes too, right? So we even with your best friends or whatever, or roommates, like you maybe get pretty close, but there is like kind of a societal politeness people put on, even ever so slightly, right? If not a lot. So
I was gonna say I don't really change, but that is a good point that you've made. That so yeah, I guess I would a little bit, but yeah, I'm just thinking like I'm not really alone that often, like especially when you live with somebody, right? So yeah,
And I'm very needy, so I'm there a lot. I'm in her room a lot.
Well, and it's, you've been locked in your houses for 2 months or whatever as well.
But yeah, I mean, other than like the whole thought piece of things, yeah, I would say I'm pretty much the same. Unless it's somebody that I like, unless I'm out in society, I guess I'm a little bit different. Like, unless, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the same with people I know, but then if I'm like in a situation where it's a bunch of people I don't know, then maybe I'd be different.
Yeah.
I don't really know. That's not a great answer to the question.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I don't think my personality changes based on like if I'm alone or if I'm with someone. I'm just like kind of the same amount of like weird and whatever all the time. But like I will put on a mask like if I'm like unhappy or whatever. Like if I'm with like work people or whatever, I'll try and like cover that up. Or like, yeah, if I'm having intrusive thoughts about like throwing kittens off a cliff, I'm not gonna like speak those aloud. I've actually never had that intrusive thought, but it just came to mind now. So we're going down the rabbit hole. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, personality wise, I'm pretty the same across the board. But yeah, like there's always gonna be, I don't know. It's a weird thing because I was gonna say like no, I'm the same, but then Thomas said his answer, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing with all the social media shit, eh? Like,
yes,
it's like
that's a good point.
Highlight reel.
Yeah. So like, I mean, people do put on fronts for sure. Personally, I don't know. I don't think I am that much different in person than I am. Like, depending on, like you said, I think that's a good point. Is am I with a bunch of strangers or am I with like people that I know well?
Yeah. That's
but
true.
the question is like when you're alone. Right?
I know,
or
but I
no
think
one
I was
is
just
around.
tying into what you were
Yeah.
saying, and that's kind of why it changed course a little bit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to meditate on this one a little bit. Personally, I think like circumstantially, I'm not different when I'm with people as when I'm alone, just because of like I don't really care about what people think of me anymore. I guess I don't know. I've kind of come to that conclusion.
I don't really either, and maybe that's why I said
Yeah.
that I'm not that much different.
Yeah. When I'm in my head, yeah. I mean, I guess when I'm thinking about exploding the world and all of that.
Yeah.
But is that, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I think it would be so like interesting, but also really fucked up to like be able to like be in someone else's head. Because like I just think about the things that I think about sometimes, and I'm like, and then I'll stop myself, and I'm like, why the fuck are you thinking about this?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
This is insane.
That's kind of my point, right?
Yeah.
And in to what you said about meditating on and stuff, this is something I've thought about and heard. Is like, because in theory, the only thing you will ever truly know is your own mind, and no one will objectively know it entirely, right? Like even your closest friends know only a projection of you. Perhaps it's like a 97% accurate projection, but
that's true.
They don't know the inside of your head entirely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's a weird place to be.
Yeah.
there was a fluff floating into your drink. So.
Thanks. Okay.
Is this
Who's
me?
up? Me?
No, I think
who
it's
read?
Thomas.
I think
Yes.
I did.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I'm just very confused.
Okay. No, this is good. This is a fun one. Number 8. How useful would you be in a zombie apocalypse?
Not. Just thinking about my own abilities. I don't know how useful I would be. I think I'd be, if I was alone or with like somebody, like say I was stuck here with just Katie, then I think I might be useful. But if I had like a guy here or something, I would totally not be useful because I would just be like, please help me. Yeah. That's my answer, I think.
I know, I've thought about this, and I'm like, I think I would literally just die of fear. Like, I would see one, and I'd be like, lights out, good night. I'm like, I would like to think I'd be semi-useful, because I can, like, shoot a gun and stuff. But I'm like, I can't, like, farm. I can't, like... I'm thinking about, like, with The Walking Dead. Like, I wouldn't know where to go in a car to, like, take the radiator off and get the water out of it. Like, I just wouldn't know how to do anything. And I'm, like, a scared little bitch, and I don't run fast, so...
Oh, God, me either. But neither do zombies.
I was gonna say.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Is this fast zombie or slow zombie
Yeah, this
apocalypse?
is like slow.
Is this like
is
what's
this
that Will Smith
28
movie?
days later or I Am Legend where
fuck
they're like
those
fast?
movies. Fuck those
I fucking
movies.
that would suck.
Yeah.
I have anxiety. So yeah, probably not that useful.
I do though, like, sorry to cut you off, but I do think that people can surprise themselves in situations like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I do think
Mhm.
that although I think I wouldn't be that good, I do think I'd be able to
Well, in
make
theory,
some
you'd
use of myself.
learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think just to, on that note too, and this is something I kind of think about, totally unrelated, but just like in that world, obviously smartphones would probably no longer work or stop working after a certain amount of time, right? Like when you have all that time in your own head, you're probably going to figure things out, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
you kind of figure out how to be a little more handy and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Probably more useful than you guys, but less useful than like somebody like The Rock, probably.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
love to be in a
Yeah,
zombie
yeah.
apocalypse with The Rock.
Yeah.
There you go.
I actually just watched Jumanji the other night. Oh, yes. He's a badass in that movie.
He is.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad movie.
It's
I didn't
actually
mind
not.
it.
I was
Yeah.
like, did not want to watch
the first
it.
one or the second one?
The first one.
Yeah, the first one. I haven't seen the
Pretty
second one.
Yeah.
The first one's pretty good.
I'm just thinking of like what skills are useful in that. It's like,
Yeah. I feel like being like a mechanic would be very useful.
Yeah, I
if you
feel
found,
like
a broken down
handiness,
car.
like
Yeah,
whether it's
handiness.
mechanic,
Yeah.
And then, like,
gardening
yeah,
slash
years
farming.
down the road,
Yeah,
like making
exactly.
your own food. Like,
Yeah.
I could probably
water
do that.
purification.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think about this sometimes. I have like a bunch of old antibiotics that I never took from like the last decade, literally. And if I just like don't take them or don't finish them, don't do this. But if you don't finish them, I've been like hoarding them away. So I have all these antibiotics because I'm like, if the zombie apocalypse comes, I have all these antibiotics.
Oh my god.
Because that's just what you always see. Like people get like a cut on their leg and then they die of like sepsis because there's no doctors.
Being a doctor, that'd be a useful one, I guess.
Yes,
right?
that
Oh,
would.
yeah.
Doctor,
Yes.
Yeah.
fairly useful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like I'd be like a 7 out of 10 useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'd just become the like charismatic leader and make everyone do the
Oh my
work.
god.
Because
With
I'm-
like 7 wives.
Well, because I'm not the most handy, useful guy, but I'm more an above the shoulders type. So
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'd be if I was like if the apocalypse happened right now
Mhm.
and I was with you three, I'd feel okay. I'm just
this is a
yeah.
not bad squad.
Yeah. Like I honestly think I would feel okay. You guys are
I think
better
my
than you
thing
think
I've
you are.
always thought too is like where we live is so like sparsely populated,
Mhm.
and we could easily go to like the countryside and or like the mountains or further north where
Mhm.
because assuming the zombies abide by the rules of movies and TV shows,
Yeah.
like they seem to not like the cold, and we're
Mhm.
used to the cold, so you could just go live in like a more cold
Yeah,
place.
that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're getting into
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
Oh
are.
yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to get a couple life straws. I need to go get a rifle.
What's a life straw?
It's like this straw that you can drink like dirty water through, but it
Oh,
filters
I've
it and it
seen
makes
one
it
of
okay to
those.
drink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never heard of that. See? You're already.
I've
You're-
seen the
Yeah,
water
better.
bottles too that you can like shake and
Oh,
Oh,
that's
they
cool.
purify water.
Hell yeah. All right.
Okay. Me? Yes.
I believe so.
How much do you know about the world outside your country?
Oh, I have to answer first. I am not very well traveled outside of North America, which is very sad, meaning not at all. So I think like in terms of experiences, I don't know a lot. Like obviously I watched like a ton of National Geographic and stuff like that, but like that's basically all that
Yeah.
I know. And like
Still,
being on like the internet, like that's basically all that I know. So like while I can say like I feel like I have a pretty decent idea of like different cultures and different like landscapes and like whatever environments and stuff, there's nothing that can be compared to going and experiencing those, and I haven't done that. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Not as much as I'd like to be,
Yeah.
but definitely like probably more than the average person
Yeah.
by a standard of deviation or more.
Mhm.
I know nothing about the outside world. Canada, #1. All other countries suck. So that is my
Oh,
answer.
man.
I've been outside, but I just I don't like read the news. I don't go like down Reddit rabbit holes. Like I don't do any of that kind of stuff. So I would say like I'm not well versed in like politics and things that are going on outside of Canada, but yeah, as far as like traveling goes, I'm like decent, I guess, and like National Geographic, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, as far as like politics and stuff goes, I would say no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think about this sometimes because I like I think I know a decent amount about like world politics, but not as much as I definitely could know. But then I'm also just kind of like, well, we only fucking know what we're told, and we probably don't even know the half of what actually goes on. So like, is there any fucking point in me even researching this,
Also
because it's
true.
half fake anyway?
Mhm.
We've been watching so much Scandal, and I'm just like, everything is fake. The media is fake.
Yeah, have you guys watched that?
No, what's
No,
that?
but
it's
real
good.
conspiracy theories are even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know
No,
that
Scandal's like a TV drama about like the White House and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
that goes on there. And so like
Mhm.
we've been watching that, and it's like they put a lot of like fake shit out there on the show, and like there's a lot of stuff that actually happens that they don't actually say, and so it's like
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like controlling
yeah,
the
that's
narrative.
thing,
Mhm.
right? So.
And yeah, you know that's kind of a reflection of what really happens.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right. So.
Yeah, I went down a big rabbit hole with the JFK murder.
Oh yeah, that's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10.
Which movie or book do you think is ridiculously overrated?
Star Wars.
Wow. You can leave.
You realize there's 3
I
Star
mean,
Wars people here at the
7,
table.
8, 9 are pretty goddamn bad. I'll give it to you there. But
I still like that.
Even
I
1,
like
2,
them
3
too.
are pretty bad. I like the classic trilogy. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But every other movie that they've made is.
Okay, my love for Star Wars is entirely based on the original trilogy, and I just enjoy the new ones because of like nostalgia.
'Kay.
But yeah. Also, The Mandalorian is pretty fucking great. If you haven't seen it.
Never seen
It's
it.
so good.
it's actually quite good. It's pretty well done.
I love it.
You.
So I was trying to think of this because the problem is like if a movie or book looks dumb, I'm not gonna read it or watch it. So I don't know. I always felt like the Twilight movies were really bad, but we were all teenagers, I think, when that was out. So, if I'm allowed to say TV series, I don't. This Is Us. Like I've seen a few episodes of it, and I can't stand that show. It's really depressing. I
It
I
is.
think it's
Yeah,
stupid,
it's pretty depressing.
and everyone fucking loves it, but I don't like it at all. So.
Yeah. Yeah, mine
Don't at
mine
me.
is a TV
Yeah,
show.
don't
Yeah.
at me.
The Office.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Couldn't get into it.
I cannot.
Interesting.
I've tried
can
more
get
than
beh-
once and I
can
can't.
get behind
Yeah.
you on that
Okay.
one,
Yeah.
too.
Like I like it, but I don't like stan it.
But like there are
do.
people that are like obsessed,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, no,
No, I can
Yeah.
get. I can get.
I-
behind
I'm not here for that.
I don't know. I enjoy that show. I'm also not someone who will like shove a show down your throat where you're like, I don't like The Office, and I'll be like, how dareth you speak such
Yeah,
blasphemy?
we're gonna go binge it for 3
Yeah.
hours right
Yeah.
now.
It does have its moments. I'll
Yeah.
give it that.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like any show, it has its like peak seasons where it's
Yeah.
just absolute gold. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a bunch of TV shows that I'm just like meh, like
Go. Shoot 'em.
Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, I was.
Ooh.
Gonna
I'm
say
sorry.
that.
How dareth you speak
I
such
hate
blasphemy?
it. I hate it. It gives
Which-
me anxiety and it makes me angry.
Did you watch like season 1 though, or like which?
Yeah, you can't watch the old seasons. You gotta like
Yeah.
it
I don't
takes a
know.
while to get.
It
I
was
think
always
the
on
third is
before
where
after
they actually-
Friends, so
Yeah.
I watched a lot, and I would just like I fucking hated it.
Because season 1 is really weird
Yeah,
on that
season
show.
1's pretty brutal.
And then 2,
Mhm.
3 not bad, but like 4, 5, 6 is just gold.
It is pretty good. When
Yeah.
like the later stuff is better.
Later, it did take a little
Yeah.
while, especially like season 1. It took a while to figure out the
I
characters
don't know.
and stuff.
I just
so.
feel like every situation they get into is like the dumbest shit, and then they just make the dumbest decisions they could make in the dumbest situation. It just makes me mad.
What other shows? 'Cause you said you have multiples.
Oh yeah, I have lots. Okay, this is gonna make me really unpopular, but I don't like The Simpsons. I
All right.
know that like it's actually a smart show, and like I get that, and like
Yeah, like some of the stuff that comes out, and they're like, "Oh, Simpsons predicted this." I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's pretty cool, but I fucking hate the show.
yeah, I just do
Yeah.
not enjoy it. There's even a crossover between Simpsons and Family Guy, and Family Guy is like my ride or die best show on the entire planet, and I like can't watch it.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Which is kind of the opposite for Simpsons because like the early stuff was way better.
Mm.
Like up until like the late 90s, early 2000s was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess some of their newer stuff is like almost a little hokey. Like
Hmm.
like the humor is almost. Maybe it's just the network they were on, or because they went for so long. Like they were almost a little more family friendly. So like sometimes the humor seems more tailored at like a slightly younger audience. I find with the Simpsons. I don't dislike it. Like I watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's- yeah.
Yeah. I also hate corner gas. I'm done.
Oh really? I liked that show back in the day, but maybe if I rewatched it, I would find it dumb. I
For
don't know.
some reason, it's on all the time at work, and I'm like, what the fuck are we watching? I'm so upset.
You guys just have random TV on all the time.
Well,
or
usually
what?
we have the news playing all the time. Like we'll have a couple different news networks, and then at a certain point, it's like all this is COVID.
So
Yeah.
we've changed. We change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's overrated? CNN, MSNBC, CBC,
Fox News.
Fox.
every single one of them.
Yep.
Okay, who would you most like to sit next to on a 10-hour flight, and why? Oh, that's a good question. I like that one.
So, because if you read the text here, it kind of like, because I don't think it's asking like celebrity or anything. I think my answer is just like a quiet person.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'd
gonna
like
say.
to. I like to sit with my own thoughts on a flight, even a 10-hour one. And granted, I haven't done one of those like since I was like a pretty little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I like my music and podcasts and not talking to someone about their kids or what. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story about this actually. So, because my dad used to travel for work all the time, like used to fly all the time for work, and he like he had this was a while ago, but you know, had his iPad, would have a million movies on it. Like he liked to he was a good traveler, but he liked to like get there, sit down, turn on his movie, not talk to anyone until he gets there and go to work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, one time sitting in business class or whatever, this one lady started talking to him beside him, and you know, he'll like humor them, but he's also not a super social guy, so he'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's nice." Put in the headphones, try to like end the conversation, and then like he, you know, they kind of chatted a little bit about with this chick who was, you know, all about herself and her amazing kids and grandkids or whatever. He's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, nice meeting you." And then turns on his iPad, puts in his headphones, and then she pulls out one of his headphones and like keeps talking to him about her life.
Oh my
Nice.
god.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, is it? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my
I would
god.
ask if there was an air marshal on the flight or
Literally.
something. But I don't know. I thought that was such a wild story.
Oh, I would lose it.
But apparently she was like semi-famous for something. I have no fucking
Oh,
idea.
God, who
But yeah, I
cares?
thought it was a funny story. So,
Hmm.
so not her on a
Yeah.
10-hour
Yeah, not that
flight.
one lady.
Yeah.
I do not mind talking to people, but I'm usually not the one to spark conversation. I find that when I fly with Katie,
I'm
we
so sorry.
always talk to the people in our row
I'm so sorry.
for like a very long time. Like one
Mhm.
time, I think this was on the way back from Mexico,
Mhm.
and the lady worked with like a bunch of people that I knew just from where I worked, and they were like in my portfolio, and she had like heard about one of the girls that I fired, and I was like, and we were able to make that connection, and I was like, holy fuck, don't ever tell anybody that we had this conversation, okay? She brought it up, but like still nonetheless, it was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
it's crazy when you talk to people that you're sitting beside.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I'm like Thomas, I do like to kind of just like sit down and listen to music and stuff, but I don't mind chatting to people too.
Yeah.
I would just say like somebody who is able to like keep their space. Like
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
yeah. I mean, I could say really mean things, I'm not going to, but just like don't fall asleep on me, and like don't put your arm on my armrest, and we'll be fine. Yeah.
Don't be fat.
Oh my god.
I'll say it for
Josh,
you.
say-
Josh said
I'll
it.
say it for you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I watched Pacific Rim last night, so I want to sit next to Charlie
Me
Hunnam.
too.
Oh, is it good? I want to watch that.
Oh my god.
The new one? The second one?
No, the first one.
Oh, I
I've
watched.
never seen any of them. and I was like enraptured.
I watched the second one last night, and it is the like perfect good bad movie. If
Well,
that makes
Charlie
any
Hunnam's
sense.
not in that one, so I'm not interested.
that?
Charlie Hunnam,
I
the
don't know
guy
who
from
that is.
Sons of Anarchy, isn't it?
I'll have to look him up.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
who that is.
I think he also
I thought
played
he was in
like
the second one.
I don't
Is it
think
the white
so.
guy?
I googled it.
Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe they recast him as a guy who looks vaguely like him. I don't know. I thought it was the same guy.
Kanye West.
Ugh, no.
Yeah, I want to
Ooh.
see what goes through that guy's mind.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm a talker on planes. Like I will get
Oh, really?
people's life stories.
Mhm.
Flying to Toronto and back to Toronto one time. Both flights made lifelong friends on them.
Yeah,
Got
that's why
them.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
depends
Agreed
who
to
you're
meet
sitting
up with
by.
a beer with both of these guys.
Aw.
Did you actually do it?
That's
Oh.
cool.
Well, you never know. Maybe on a short flight, I'd be more open to that. I don't know.
Yeah, a 10-hour flight is a
Yeah.
long time.
Mhm.
to talk
10-hour
to
flight
someone.
is a long one, but
Yeah.
I'd really want to sit next to someone that I'm comfortable with, so I could nap with them.
Mhm.
So we could like take turns like laying on each other, and it wouldn't be weird.
It's true. It is true. Have you been on a 10-hour flight?
now I think the longest flight I was ever on was like maybe 5.5 hours, and I was dying. I'm not a good flyer though. I get like mad anxiety, and like I just am
That
not
used to be me
well.
too. Then I was like, out of my hands.
I mean, I've done a
Yeah.
12er. It's hard. Like
Ugh.
it's, yeah.
Yeah, I could if I was like rich and I could have one of those pods that you could lay down in.
Yeah.
Mm.
I could not talk for
Those are
that long.
ridiculous. Those are like 20 grand.
I
or
know,
something
it's
like that. Like,
insane.
They're not going to be 20 grand anymore.
yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. Yeah, maybe now's the time to try one of those.
$500 for first class.
Wow. Yeah. Seriously.
Oh my god.
Is it my turn?
Mhm.
Okay. This question has a typo in it, I think. What are 2 things you know you
Should know how to do,
yeah,
but don't.
you should know how
To
to
do.
do? You know you should know how to do, but don't.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't go first.
No, it's fine. I was gonna
Nope.
let you.
Okay, time to stall.
Yeah, I wish that I knew more about cars, like just the simple things like changing oil. So I feel like I should know how to do that. And I cooking maybe. Like I can, but it's not like gourmet or anything. Like it's very like simple. So I would say like being able to cook. Like I'm just terrified to have kids because they're gonna be like, "Mom, we had this the other day." I'll be like, oh, okay.
They're just gonna want chicken fingers every day anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want them to be fat though.
Yeah, I'm like kind of the same. Like I wish I knew how to do like more handy stuff. Like I can change oil and change a tire, but it would take me
Oh, really?
4 fucking hours. And one time I fixed a running toilet and I was so proud of myself. But like that's it. Like I wish that like I just wish that like if the sink was leaking I wouldn't have to call a fucking plumber. That I could just deal with it myself. Although we haven't been doing good news segments, but I'll just throw this in there. There's a guy and his dad abandoned their family when he was a kid. So he grew up with no dad and now he's like adult with kids. So he made a YouTube channel called Dad How Do I, and
Yeah,
he
I
makes all
saw
these
that.
really simple
Yeah.
videos teaching like how to fix a running toilet, how to like do all this different stuff around the house because he didn't have a dad around to teach him when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So he wanted to put that
that's
out for
really
everybody else. It was
cute.
so
I like
sweet.
that.
Yeah.
And on that note, there's also YouTube in
I was
general
gonna
for
say.
how to
I
do
know.
things, right? So
I couldn't even figure out how to fix my auto paste settings on Microsoft Word 2010 last night. Like I am.
It's so funny that you bring that up, Thomas, because like I'd never look at YouTube and I don't know why, but it's never the first thing that comes to mind. Like when I started editing video, like I went straight to Josh. When we got this equipment, I went straight to you and you were like, "Did you watch any videos?" And I was like, "No." Can you just come over and do it, please?
When we were trying to figure out how to record with 2 mics, we watched like hours of YouTube videos and it turned out we had the wrong laptop.
Oh yeah, right.
And the only reason we figured that out was because the very cute man with the nice butt at Best Buy told us.
Sometimes those YouTube videos though, like I hate how people try to go for that algorithm now where it's like
oh yeah.
at least 10 minutes long and you're like, get to
Very-
the fucking
yeah,
point.
It's very
Yeah.
clickbaity.
I want to know.
And then it's
Yeah.
like yeah.
So you got to play them at 2x speed. And,
Yeah.
yeah. But for me, probably how to hold children, that gives me the
Oh.
worst anxiety of
Oh,
all
does
time.
it? Oh, okay.
I'm afraid I'm going to break them or kill them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Or
that's-
like mix them up because they all look the same. So
they're all
Just
bald.
leave daycare with
Yeah.
someone else's kid.
yeah. Like, oh,
Oh my
shit.
God.
Yeah.
And then probably woodworking.
Interesting.
Yeah. I want to know more about like how to make things with wood and like with my hands.
Yeah,
Like,
I wish
like
I could build
like drawers
stuff.
or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, you know,
good
I
answer.
want like a planter. Like I wish I could just
Yeah.
build that myself.
I know,
I'm like,
right?
hello, can
Like
anyone do it for me?
shelves.
Yeah.
I also can I change my answer? I want to know how to hack stuff and like code.
Oh.
That's what I would really want to know how.
Oh, I have one too. Starting a fire.
She's
I should
hacking
know how
the
to do that.
mainframe.
the mainframe.
I'm laughing, but I don't get it.
Where it's like TV shows and stuff, whenever they use like hacking computer lingo, it's always just nonsense. Like it doesn't make any sense.
okay.
So,
And then
See
if I knew how to
find that
hack,
picture I sent you.
I would hack into Charlie Hunnam's home security so I could watch it.
Oh, Jesus.
You are so creepy.
I don't
using
know
your
where this
powers for
obsession
good.
came from. Like I never cared about him before.
Yeah, and I'm gonna look this guy up.
I said, I'll send pictures like this to Thomas, and he's like, "Are you hacking?" That's it. This one.
Oh yeah. So I believe they actually the character this guy played in Pacific Rim, I believe they recast him as like a
Yeah.
shittier, less good-looking version in the second one
Yeah,
because
upset.
he was probably busy and it was a fucking brutal movie.
Probably.
So.
They
What's his last
almost Hunnam, Hunnam. He was also almost Christian Grey in the 50,
really?
50 Shades movies, and I would have been a lot more excited to watch them if
Yeah,
he
the
had
guy
been
they
Christian
picked-
Grey.
Didn't they pick a fairly
He's so attractive.
average
He's
looking
cute.
dude?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
was
a
he?
babe.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Didn't do it for me.
the chemistry is weird.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish I knew how to, general handiness and like even like being able to like build things. Like
Mm.
I sort of figured out how to like fix crap around the house, but like
Mhm.
knowing how to like like woodwork or something or like build or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
And also drive stick. And I was thinking about this before because one time, so when I used to live with a few guys, one of them had like a manual transmission car and was parked behind me in the driveway, and I had to go somewhere for work, and I was like stranded in my driveway, but I managed to back out like kind of on the lawn on the neighbor's driveway and come around.
Oh no.
It was a fit of like this much
Oh my
space.
God. Well,
and I
I'm-
told him that after because he was gone. And he's like,
Oh no.
"Fuck, I need to teach you how so you're not stuck
Yeah.
in your own house because you can't drive sticks." So, but never learned. So.
I'm getting my beater fixed this week, so you could learn on that because I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care if the clutch gets fucked up.
Oh, that's a manual?
Yeah.
That's always nice to
I'm
have
so
friends.
excited. I miss
Yeah.
driving stick.
Oh,
And I never
I'm
drive in
definitely
rush
gonna-
hour
I want
anymore,
to try. I
so-
want to try.
Yeah.
I haven't driven stick in quite some time.
Driving stick is definitely overrated in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah,
I
it
drove
sounds like a
stick,
lot of
I worked
work.
in the country, so I had like an hour commute on the highway each way, which was
Yeah.
like just lovely. But yeah, I stuck in rush hour,
It's-
riding that clutch,
Yeah.
like I'm like my leg hurts.
It is fun for about 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
then it's like,
Just a
eh,
chore.
I'm kind of bored of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you
it
have
becomes-
did you guys have manual cars?
No, I've driven
Oh,
quite a
okay,
few of them though.
okay.
I've had a manual.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
missed,
really?
I never should have sold that car.
When I was buying a car, I was thinking about getting a standard, and I was like,
Mhm.
nobody wants to buy
They're really
this.
hard to find, but they're
Yeah.
like cheaper, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a bit cheaper, but yeah, it's hard. Like resale, it's hard to
Yeah.
sell them.
Yeah, they're getting harder to find. I hear. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this next one me?
Whose turn
No, I think
is
it's
it?
me, isn't it? Or who asked the last
No,
one?
I think Thomas did. Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas, that's
Yeah.
the last
Oh,
one.
did you?
Yeah,
you did.
yes, I
Okay.
did. Okay. Yeah.
What is something you've done that you wish you could undo?
Oh.
Stayed in relationships longer than I should have.
That's a good answer.
Mm.
That's mine as well. So I'll just
Oh,
answer right
interesting.
now.
Yeah.
That is a good answer.
Yeah.
Hmm. 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 I'm trying to think.
Definitely
of this
gonna
one.
leave all these hms and haws in there.
Hmm. I don't know. That's a good one. Pass.
Okay.
Come back to me.
I would say the same as you guys, like for sure, like staying in some relationships a little too long. But I also think that's just kind of like a youngness or not knowing what to do, or you've never done it before. There's one or
I still do
two
that.
business ventures where, like, you know,
Shit.
I'm glad I've done them, but there's a few things where it's like they were maybe just a bit of a waste of time and money, but
Mm.
I try to be as no regrets as possible.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, back to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
already.
did you
Gone to
think of one?
university.
Really?
Yeah. Learned nothing in 4 years.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that I
Didn't
learned
you
nothing,
learn
too.
about yourself?
No.
Oh, okay.
I do feel like university like changes the way you think a little bit. Like it
See,
does kind of develop your like cognitive.
I agree with you there, and I think anyone, like, just to immediately disagree with you, but you know, like, because I've had that thought as well in the past, but you're only looking at that with the knowledge of having gone to university,
Mhm.
right? So it's
Mhm.
almost like too easy to
Yeah.
say, like, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved a lot of my courses though. So
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't a bad time, but it was like, it was pretty chill. Like,
Mhm.
not gonna lie. So I
Mhm.
don't know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just think like I could have taken those 4 years and done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
So
I
much else.
do believe university could be condensed into like
hell yes.
Yeah.
a lot shorter.
Especially
of
the
a time.
2-year diplomas. Like the diploma that I took at Grand McEwen was such bullshit. It
Oh,
could have
really?
been a 1 year easy.
Mhm.
Easy.
And just to totally tangent, because I was thinking about this the other day, but like I understand the point of a 4-year degree and electives is to like expand your mind, learn
Mhm.
other things, not just be like a one-trick pony.
Sure.
Mhm.
But and that's probably in theory what they did when they first made university or whatever, right? And people cared about academics and expanding their minds. But I don't know. I feel like for the most part, electives were like fuck around classes
Yep.
or whatever, or you would take something easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't until my like last year I would take electives that like actually genuinely interested me. But
I took astronomy. That was a good
That'd
one.
be cool.
Did you really?
You need
Yeah.
math for
Oh
that,
my
though, don't you?
God.
It's actually, it's pretty much all math.
Yeah, I'm not taking that. Nope.
Yeah.
first day, hey, I'm Josh and I'm a Taurus. What the fuck is all this math in astronomy class?
Oh my god.
Fuck.
What do most people think about you that is absolutely not true?
That I'm a douche. Maybe I am. I don't know.
See, I feel like it's kind of hard to know this one because, like,
It's what other people think
it's
of
what
you.
other people think of
Yeah.
you, and they
Yeah.
might what that thing is may not have made its way back to you, right? So unless
Also true.
someone's told you this, I guess, right? So
Mine would be that I'm like bitchy and rude, which is not the case at all. I just have a major RBF, like 24/7.
do you? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Same.
Especially when I'm
Yeah.
uncomfortable, like meeting new people and stuff. But like, one of my friends or one of our friends has a new girlfriend, and we recently met her, but it was for like a very brief amount of time. And she said to him that she thought I was nice. And I was like, holy shit, I think this is the first time in my whole entire adult life that someone has met me for like 4 minutes and was like, wow, she seems really nice. And I don't mean to, because
Interesting.
I mean, I like to think I am very nice. You guys can attest to that. But I just like, yeah, I have a face, and people are like, oh, I have a face.
I have a face.
Yeah.
You do.
I mean, I think a lot of people think that I'm really outgoing and don't get like anxiety, which is not true. So yeah, I guess that's the only thing. Like I've had people
Yeah.
that know me very well, and I'll like bring up anxiety, and they're like, "What? I had no idea." I'm like, "How do you not know?"
No, like I would agree with that.
That's so crazy because I
Yeah.
feel like it's very apparent.
Mm-mm.
Like I'm sweating right now.
No one can see your sweat.
Black shirts.
Black
Yeah.
shirt,
Woo!
baggy under the arms. You're laughing.
My answer was just because I thought about that one kid that we went to university with.
Oh yeah. Okay, funny story. So, like Josh and I went to university together, and then I had this other buddy who I worked with at the time, and then like Josh, as you guys know, and I think a fair amount of listeners may or may not know, but Josh has a distinct swagger when he walks due to his injury, right? So then one time in university,
Oh no.
my one buddy was like, hey man, what's your buddy's deal? Like he walks like such a douchebag. Like what's his thing? Or like he looks like such a douchebag just walking around.
What did you say to him?
I was like, oh, he actually had a spinal cord injury.
He used to be a paraplegic.
Yeah, he had a bad spinal cord injury and had to learn to walk again. Like I said it like that to like kind of fuck with him.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of like it was a very joking kind of tone overall in the conversation.
I laughed when
but
I
I
heard
thought it was so fun. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm
Oh
like,
my god.
don't worry. He has like a good sense of humor about it. Like,
yeah, but what if it was someone that didn't? Jesus, I would feel
Yeah.
like, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I would never say something
Yeah.
like that, but like,
Yeah.
shit, that
Yeah.
is.
Just goes to show you can never judge anybody else.
Yeah.
Al.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny. I'm like, I got it. I'm
pretty
like,
funny.
don't worry. He has a good sense of humor about it. I got to tell him that.
I did laugh when I heard it
Holy.
too. What is something that can't be taught and can only be learned with age? Oh.
Like, I would say, in the broad sense, wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
Kind of
Yeah.
only comes with life
God.
experience and age. And, yeah.
I've done this 3 times, so
The
clearly
coasters are
wisdom
only for
doesn't
show.
come. Clearly wisdom doesn't come.
This is probably wisdom, but my answer was like, what life is really about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I think, what
And
I
like
was.
what life entails. Like I was talking about this yesterday. I'm like, you don't really realize like how much heartbreak is in life, and like it's just a part of life. Yeah. So yeah, that's my answer.
Cue my existential crisis of the day. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know if I know the meaning of life. I would say just like knowing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think that I knew who I was as a human until I was like 25.
I would agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
I was going to say who you really are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're even still kind of learning that. Like,
Yeah.
there's almost, in life, it's almost learning that you know nothing is
Yeah.
knowing everything kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
and kind of even the yin and the yang of like, yeah, there's lots of heartbreak, but there's also going to be lots of ups.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like you almost have to put yourself out there more, like in order to experience the best range of emotions, you have to be willing to deal with the risk of the lowest range, I guess.
Yeah,
Does
yeah,
that
for sure.
make
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
So versus living comfortably in the middle.
Yeah.
Indeed. Who read that one?
Indubitably.
That was you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Do you think the convenience of technology is worth the loss of privacy that comes with it?
Sadly, yes.
It's just turned into a 3-hour episode.
I know. No, we're only at an hour.
Yeah.
No, but Josh hasn't
Yeah, I
talked
know,
yet.
but wait,
God.
don't get us going on
The
this.
TLDR version of this answer, please. Okay.
Josh has a manifesto in his
That's
car that
okay.
he's just
That's
gonna
my
read
answer. Yes. Sadly, yes.
Yeah, I would say
I mean,
the
like,
same.
I don't know how we would live without technology now.
Yeah.
Like, we just know.
When I think about like the global like collective, like in terms of like education and like the changes in like feminism and all those kind of things that have like I think have been progressed quite a bit more because of the technology and because we're connected to everybody all around the earth. In that manner, I think that it's worth it. But like when I lay in bed at night and I see my Google little dot thing pulsing with green light and I know it's listening to me, I'm like, this is weird.
no,
You don't think it's worth it?
it's not.
See, the thing with that is I just don't even bother to like try and figure out how much they're learning about me because ignorance is bliss.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's how I feel about that.
See,
You asked for TLDR. No.
Are you biting your tongue? Like, are there like marks in your tongue? Like how bad you want to talk?
Just gritting
Because
his teeth.
you can if you really have.
No, I agree that it's pretty disgusting what most of these companies do
Well-
with the data. So
and even to that point, and we've had some good chats about this recently in our one friend group who talks about tech stuff like this. The like, first of all, it's way too far gone now to reverse, and
yeah.
like, you know, reading some stuff about like Edward Snowden, for example, was one thing we were reading the other day. Like the amount they know about you and or can find you and whatever, like privacy is pretty much an illusion these days, right? Like even if you go like VPN, you know how to do private servers and blah blah blah, it's still very very difficult, and you can only achieve semi objective privacy if you're like the most tech savvy of the tech savvy, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's like, but that's also from like, you know, if you go from like the libertarian standpoint to have the ideology of, well, I have nothing to hide, so who cares? But that's when privacy totally disappears if people start to think that way. So but then conversely, the more you learn about this tech stuff, and that's why it's kind of good to just not know about it.
Yeah.
Like it's way too far gone, and it's been way too far gone for years, right? So
Yeah. The thing that bothers me the most is like the people that are getting the most monetary value out of this are like big corporations and billionaires who don't even fucking need any more money. But they're the ones that are getting all of this ad revenue, and like it's, you know, like you say something and then your phone will give you a targeted ad for it.
yeah. And well, because when it comes to technology stuff and like social media, etc., like my default answer is like, obviously you can use it for a lot of good, but you have to like take action and be intentional with that, right? And
which most people aren't.
no,
No.
and I'm guilty of, not doing that either, right?
Yeah, as we sit here with our iPhones.
Yeah.
And then even for me, and this applies to you too, like we are both advertisers and advertisees, right? So we can't sit around and critique the network when we turn around and use it for our economic benefit at the same time, right?
Right.
So it's kind of this weird fine balance. I even personally looked into, because there's lots of cryptocurrencies that are based on, or well, there's not lots of, there's one big one, and there's been several others that have tried to do it that are based on like a private browser where you like get rewards for
Brave.
Brave
Yes.
and basic attention token, but it's just not widely adopted. I don't know if it will be.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
Okay, fine. I'll bite on this one.
Okay.
I think you should own your own data. So if
Yeah.
you're providing the data to these networks, you should get a reward for it. So
I agree.
You're creating the content for these platforms. Therefore, you should be able to reap some of that benefit.
Mhm.
Instagram is good for that because advertisers will actually directly reach out to people
Mhm.
as opposed to the platform.
Mhm.
That's good. I think it's going in the right direction when it comes to that sort of thing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like if you reach out directly to Jack and get her to promote your product because she has a following and pay her for her
Oh,
following,
I see where you're going with this.
as opposed
Okay,
to
gotcha.
paying the greater platform.
Just plain
Mhm.
buying a
Yeah.
Instagram ad, right? So
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
However, that also like goes down the rabbit hole of like what's actually engagement. And like when we talk about advertising, I was
Mhm.
having this conversation with my roommate. It's like, how can you prove that ad revenue or that ad dollar is actually going to legitimate people as opposed to competitors that are going in the door and just I'm clicking on this guy's ad because fuck this guy.
Oh, right,
We're gonna
yeah.
use all
Yeah.
of his ad
Because
spend.
and there's companies. I mean, Google is the best example. Like, there's companies that do it's like anti-click fraud, right?
Mhm.
So, but it's really hard to combat that. But yeah,
Also,
good point.
Also, the freedom of speech that's being impeded by a lot of these companies is
Mhm.
disgusting.
Mhm.
I think that you should be able to say whatever you want to online and not have to be banned or silenced because of your opinions or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I personally think that the internet should go back to how everybody has their own website, their own platform, and they control that. We were having a conversation about Joe Rogan going to Spotify and being exclusive with Spotify, and getting paid $100 million or whatever for it.
Mhm.
I mean, he could have easily just gone the other way and said, I'm going to only do my podcast on my own platform, and probably wouldn't have lost a subscriber base because of that. He probably would have
Yeah.
been.
He has like the most loyal subscriber base in that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
area of the
Yeah,
media.
exactly.
And then he controls his own voice
100%.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do fully agree with you, but just kind of to this point, I think it is kind of too far gone unless like there's like an internet revolution sort of thing.
I think
right?
there will
So-
be one.
Mhm.
And even we were talking about, do you guys know what VPNs
Mhm.
are? Okay, so we were talking about VPNs the other day because I was asking our tech savvy crew if there's a good one, and then the more I looked into it, because like the problem is like any good VPN is like, you know, really good at the start, don't give away any of your data, get a huge user base, then like 6 months down the road, they're selling your data anyways. So
Mhm.
it's just kind of like this weird cycle. So it almost seems pointless.
I just used to use Tunnel Bear because it was cute.
Sure.
Yeah, Tunnel Bear's terrible.
It was cute.
any VPN that's based in a Five Eyes country is terrible.
Okay.
Interesting. All right.
Are you good?
Oh, I could say so much more, but
Okay.
we're all good.
Yep.
We're good.
What are the consequences of everyone having instant distraction at their fingertips?
This ties right
Yeah, that
into
kind of
it.
ties into it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us have kind of forgotten how to be present. And like Josh was saying, like a lot of us don't know how to be bored. A lot of us don't know how to be like truly alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that definitely has probably had a major impact on like people's mental health in general. And I think that it's cost us a lot of real human to human interaction.
Mhm.
Like I think that a lot of people forget how to have like real deep relationships.
That's a good point.
So yeah, that's me. That's my answer. I was just gonna say being present. Honestly,
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Personally, I think it's like I can't even fucking focus anymore because like all these, I have to. My phone, I have no notifications on it. The only way that you can actually instantly reach me is if you call me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've had this, but for me, it's like my ability to focus has been diminished so far that I have to like intentionally leave my phone in another room, not even look at it for an hour at a time or whatever it is, do what I'm doing, and then go back to it and look.
I would agree with that. I have
Yeah.
never really thought about it, but I think I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a interesting movement where a lot of people are getting more into, I mean, this has always been a thing, but like kind of Greek philosophy, right? And how these guys figured out a lot of stuff thousands of years ago. And we were even discussing this with Randy King.
Mhm.
But when you think about it, like ancient societies and being by yourself, like they had the same 24 hours in a day as we did, but they didn't. Like my average screen time's like 5 hours during this freaking quarantine, if not more, right? Like you had to just exist in your own head a lot more, and now you don't have to do that at all ever in theory, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing we've lost in a way. So, But I'm always like, people are pretty quick to poo-poo technology, and I'm usually try to defend it like there is good to it. But yeah, I think being in tune with yourself is lost a lot, right? So you don't like, and even, you know, people, and I have made an intention not to do this over the past maybe year or two, and now I pay a lot of attention to it. But like when you're out in public and you have to like stand in line or wait for your order, or you're at a restaurant and the other person leaves for a second, like to just instantly go for your phone, right? Versus like, can you comfortably sit by yourself, right? Like it's almost you almost feel awkward doing it, or you're worried people will think you're awkward, but can you just sit there contently, right?
Yeah.
And if you watch older people, right, they can sit in silence. Yeah. Even like old friends or something, like maybe they've said everything there's to be said to each other, but at the same time, they can sit and have a pause in the conversation and not be weird. Like it's just
I think
comfort with self.
Yeah.
I think everybody goes for instant gratification now too, because of like this has become the slot machine of instant gratification.
True. Yeah.
Whereas you can't like delay. A lot of people don't even think about delaying.
I heard that.
Be careful.
Okay, we're good.
Did you just rewind it?
No. Oh, I paused it.
No.
Oh, I think you're
That's
next on the question.
Katie's question.
Yeah.
I'm next.
Are you recording now?
What makes you say, "What was I thinking?" when you look back on your life?
Oh, boy. When I was like 15 years old, I like dished all my friends for a girl.
We've all heard this story.
Yeah.
Have you guys? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And yeah, that was not a good idea. Don't ever do that.
That was funny. Now that I think back of it, just that you totally
Like stop
like
hanging
literally left all of the boys.
Yeah.
And I mean all of them.
Aw.
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Not a good idea. Don't do it.
What did you? Because I think you messaged Chuck when you guys broke up, like on like Facebook Messenger, and we're like, "Whoops," or something to make amends. I remember that. I don't remember what it was.
Big
But
whoops.
I
That's
said-
what my gravestone should say.
Big
Big
whoop.
whoops.
yeah,
Oopsie poopsie.
I'm back.
yeah.
I'm back, boys.
I'm back. Just send the like Jordan press conference where he's like, "I'm back" after he came back from baseball.
Have you guys? That is a great series.
I gotta
Would
finish that
recommend.
actually. I have the
Oh,
last
I
two
haven't started
episodes.
it.
I gotta
The Last
watch
Dance.
9 and 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say kind of going back to, we talked about this earlier, but staying in relationships too long. That is when I kind of like, I try not to get hung up on it, but you're kind of like, what, like, for me, there was almost like an instant moment of Jesus Christ. It was almost like an instant moment of clarity where I was just like it just clicked, turned a page, and I was like, what the fuck was I doing for like, and you know what? It's plausible. She feels the same way, that dragged out too long. And like, I think I'm okay with that. Like, I think that's just kind of a fact of life now. And perhaps, you know, in my early single days, I made some questionable decisions on some partners, but yeah, out at the bar and stuff. But if you don't remember it, doesn't count. Right?
That's what we say.
Yeah.
Mopeds. Mopeds.
What?
Nothing. We'll tell you the joke
Oh
after.
God.
I mean, I have a couple for this, but this is like, you, in that moment, you did it because you wanted to. So it's like, it's easy to look back and be like, what was I thinking? But at that time, you wanted it to happen. So it's kind of, I don't know. For me, I guess, like going to our junior high, like I would say, what was I thinking going to an all girls junior high? But my two of my closest friends are from there, so it's kind of like, where would I be if that didn't happen? But I'm still like, why the fuck did I think that was a good idea? Yeah, same.
My hair circa 2010 to 2011.
Well, what?
Yeah, I was gonna say the
was it?
clothes that we wore too,
Yeah.
and like
Clip-in extensions and all.
like True
Oh, yeah.
Religions.
Yeah. Rockin' Republic.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Instagram that's like Gotta Love the 2000s or something like that, and it's
No.
oh, I think you guys would like it.
Oh,
It's actually
man.
pretty funny.
Like I love.
It's kind of more tailored to girls, but it's just showing all the like hilarious fucking
That would be good.
weird ass,
Oh,
or like
that's
even the
true.
like just the general looks of what
Mhm.
people wore, and yeah.
That's okay. I did a blonde,
You just skunk
like
streak.
a full blonde thing right down
Skunk
the
streak.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
man,
grade 8 into grade 9.
nice.
Oh, actually, and I was even thinking this other day, but having my like super long hair for so long, like I have no idea why I did it or like didn't get rid of it sooner than I did. But
What was your look? You were the
see, but
unique
that
guy.
see, and that's what I was thinking is like I was actually thinking. Yeah, I do this like quasi meditating thing sometimes at night, and I was thinking this. I'm like, well, why did I have long hair for so long? Because in elementary school, everyone kind of had hockey hair, like that was just the thing, right? And then for some reason in junior high, I just kind of like doubled down on the long hair. I don't know why. I just and then I eventually became like the long hair guy.
Yeah.
So I almost like just drifted into this
That was your identity.
identity.
Oh.
But it was never intentional, and then I was like too afraid of change to make that change for the longest time. It was a very weird thing.
He
So.
was the Jesus of suburbia.
That's exactly what I was. Jesus, so that's good actually. I like that song. Anyways,
Is it me now?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it's
who
Josh.
is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Lost
If you
track.
could live your life again knowing what you do now, what would you change? All these questions
See,
are on the same fucking.
Because I don't like this question because it's the flawed question because you can only look at this question and
True.
answer it with your current perspective, which you only have because you have lived your life and had your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore,
So do you want to
bad
skip it?
question.
Yeah. Okay.
Throw it out.
Okay.
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 Oh, was that a good answer for everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. You have $100 to burn. All your friends are busy, and you have the whole day to yourself. What do you do?
Interesting.
Oh shit, I'm first. Wow, I don't know. I don't do a lot of things alone. I don't know. Can you come back to me?
Okay. I love being home alone, so I would literally sit at home and like have a bath and like read and maybe clean and just like have like a lazy like homebody day, and then I would take that $100 and put it on my credit card. That's literally what I would do. Because $100 isn't gonna get me to do anything like awesome in that day.
No.
I mean, yeah, it was like online shopping.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that actually might be it.
Just buy little
Yeah, also.
trinkets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably take it, buy a coffee, buy a book, read.
Hmm.
MFC tokens.
Oh, that's a good one too. Bring.
And
We're both like,
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you after too.
All right.
We have two things to tell you
okay,
after.
remember that.
Do we like this last question? It's a bit.
I feel like this question could be problematic.
Yeah, I
like
know.
it's
Yeah.
very
Well,
interesting
let's-
to me.
So let's just.
Okay, how about if
If-
you could be born again, what would you be?
What would you be?
Yeah, like would you be like
like
an
a
animal? Would you
tree?
be like
Ooh.
would you be a boy? Would you
Oh,
I don't know.
I like
I
that.
think that's more broad than what this
Okay.
question
Sure.
is asking.
I like this question.
Yeah,
Though. It's
okay.
funny.
I do like this question.
Yeah, but nah.
And
no.
my answer would be, I would choose to be Canadian and me, because Canada #1 and me #1.
Me #1.
So,
America a number one
Yeah.
country.
I know which reference you're going for.
I also would be me. I don't know if I live here though.
Mhm.
Like I kind of wish I was born somewhere where there wasn't a winter, but
Mm.
it is what it is.
They got big bugs though.
Mhm. That's true.
It's your trade-off. I would like not change myself, but I would want to be born in like one of the Nordic like socialist countries, because if you look at like Finland and places like that, they actually have really advanced technology and they have high taxes, but like there's so many benefits to it. I don't know. I'm just like, I love it.
We were talking about this yesterday, like just in my house,
Mhm.
and apparently the card that you get when you live in Sweden, for example,
Mhm.
you pay like 40% on like or like on gas, on like
Mhm.
groceries and everything. So you live way cheaper, but you pay a lot of taxes.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting.
But then you have like free university, free daycare
Mhm.
for your kids. Like there's just so many, I don't know. I really like I've never obviously been there, but like from what I've watched, I've seen like documentaries about those kind of countries, and like yeah, I don't remember where it was, Finland or whatever's next to Finland. And they have like the technology is crazy.
Sweden.
It's crazy. Like they have one card and it does everything, and like you can like park your car in a parkade and it like is self-parking. Like they just have all this crazy shit. It's nuts.
Are you sure that was Finland?
No, I think
Maybe
it was the one
Sweden?
next to Finland.
Sweden
It wasn't
is-
Sweden. It
No,
wasn't
was it-
Sweden.
And Norway
Um,
or Denmark?
No,
Oh, Estonia?
no,
No,
I don't know.
not Estonia.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But anyway, somewhere up in that
Interesting.
Slavic area. I don't know.
Josh?
East
God.
of the
I would be a
East
white
of the
male.
Slavics.
Yeah. It's honestly not bad, I have to tell you. So.
Oh my god.
Maybe Austria. I like Austria. That sounds like a good place.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Switzerland.
My only thing with like those like Nordic countries is because they're actually like Edmonton's the furthest north major city in North America, and all their major cities are further north than ours, so they have even less fucking daylight during the winter and colder winters. They don't have as much snow, but it's like a wet cold because the ocean's right there. So I would veto it for that reason.
Forgo
Yeah.
the Nordic countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know how I feel about the like there's parts of their democratic socialism that I don't outright disagree with, right? Like I don't think they're doing a bad job on certain things, right? And even like, one thing I think about is like the cost of education, especially Canada's not bad, but in America it's ludicrous. And then there's other countries that have equally as good or better universities that are free to those residents. So it's kind of this weird existential question, right? So,
I think it was Norway that I was talking about. Also, their prison system is 100% focused on rehabilitation, and the recidivism rate is the lowest in the world. Like the whole
their what rate?
recidivism. So
Is
it's
that
like
like-
reoffending.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like they
Yeah.
actually take people to prison, but they rehabilitate them. It's like this crazy concept where we don't want our criminals to stay criminals. Anyway.
They're happy countries.
Yeah.
Don't they have like the highest rates of depression though, or something like that in
I
the
don't
world?
know.
I thought
don't
that
know.
was like the weird trade-off fact, but
They just have low vitamin D.
yeah, exactly.
That would make you depressed.
Yeah. Did you know that supposedly there's actually a very strong correlation between vitamin D deficiency and your ability to either fight or defend against coronavirus? Just to totally open
makes
a can of worms.
sense.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, because I
Yeah.
think your vitamin D affects your immune system as
Yes.
a whole. So it's
Yes.
not just corona, it's like anything.
Yeah, exactly. But
Apparently, also, there was a Canadian study that was done that said smoking weed can help you defend yourself against coronavirus.
I've only heard about it, and I've heard it's like specific strains or something like that.
That's
and
so
I haven't
interesting.
read it myself.
Me neither.
I don't know. Every single time I smoke weed, it feels like I have coronavirus.
I know.
yeah,
Legit.
that's the thing.
That's so
Honestly.
All right.
Cool. Well,
that was
21
our-
questions.
yeah.
that was 21 questions. That
Yeah.
was episode 4 of Boys v Girls.
Yeah.
We'll maybe have to revisit this series someday in the future.
Later, yeah.
But,
It was so nice to see you two in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
My
thanks for having us,
goodness,
This
yeah.
is like a
This was fun.
weird thing to have you here in person.
Yeah.
I know, hey?
I
Not
always
used
feel
to it.
like I was saying to Katie, I'm like, I feel like we have better content when we're together.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah.
I
With
think
anyone, especially
Yeah.
strangers, I think, though.
Oh
like, it's
God!
so
seriously.
hard to
Oh my
get
God,
a
I hate
rapport
that. That's
going.
part of why, like, I
I know.
wanted to do something either because I was a little tired of doing just ourselves, just because we would always just talk about Corona or whatever. And that's
Yeah.
what I wanted. With you guys, I thought it was a good idea to try and change
We
it
had
up.
2
so.
guests on, and we probably are gonna have to get them on.
Oh, I want to
I
redo
think
it
same,
because
yeah.
like they were not bad episodes, but I would like to
Yeah.
do them again because it definitely didn't hit its full potential.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would
So,
agree.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of Boys vs. Girls.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you guys very much for listening. I hope that you got some laughs and learned a little bit about us. As always, you can follow us on all the social medias at 2 Girls 1 Broadcast. Boys, where can they find you?
At Long and Hard Podcast.
On all of your
On all your
platforms.
platforms.
Yeah.
Mm.
Follow,
beans.
rate, review, all
Yeah.
the things. Love you guys. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye, tacos.